Welcome to Sociology Visualized. In today's lecture we will discuss Dr. B.R.AMBEDKAR as a social thinker, one of the most influential intellectual figures in modern Indian social thought. Dr. B.R.AMBEDKAR was not only the chief architect of the Indian Constitution but also a profound sociologist, economist, jurist, and social reformer. His intellectual work was primarily concerned with caste, social inequality, untouchability, democracy, religion, and social justice. Ambedkar's thought is unique because it combined scholarly analysis with lived experience. Having personally experienced the oppression of untouchability, he examined Indian society through a deeply critical and analytical lens. His writings represent one of the most systematic critiques of caste hierarchy and social exclusion in India. Some of his major works include Castes in India, Their Mechanism, Genesis and Development, 1916. Annihilation of Caste, 1936. Who were the Shudras? 1946. The Untouchables, Who were they and why they became untouchables? 1948. States and Minorities, 1947. What Congress and Gandhi have done to the Untouchables, 1945. Buddha and His Dhamma, 1957. Intellectual background of Ambedkar. Dr. B.R.AMBEDKAR was born in 1891 in Mo in present-day Madhya Pradesh in a Mahar family, which was categorized as an untouchable caste within the Hindu social hierarchy. From an early age he experienced discrimination in schools and public spaces. These experiences later shaped his intellectual interest in studying social inequality and caste oppression. Despite these challenges, Ambedkar pursued higher education abroad. He studied at Columbia University in the United States, London School of Economics in the United Kingdom. At Columbia University he was influenced by the philosopher John Dewey, whose ideas about democracy, pragmatism, and education deeply shaped Ambedkar's thinking. His training in economics, sociology, political science, and law enabled him to develop a multidisciplinary understanding of social problems. Thus Ambedkar's intellectual framework combined Western liberal philosophy, modern social science methods, personal experience of caste discrimination, Ambedkar's analysis of the caste system. Ambedkar considered caste to be the most fundamental institution shaping Indian society. In his early paper Castes in India, Their Mechanism, Genesis and Development, he argued that caste is maintained primarily through endogamy, which means marriage within one's own caste. According to Ambedkar, caste is not merely a division of labor but a division of laborers. This distinction is very important. A division of labor refers to the functional specialization of occupations within a society. However, caste fixes individuals permanently into hereditary occupations and rigid social positions. As a result, social mobility becomes impossible. Inequality becomes institutionalized. Individuals lose freedom to choose their occupation. Ambedkar therefore described caste as a system of social exclusion and hierarchical stratification. Concept of graded inequality. One of Ambedkar's most significant sociological contributions is his concept of graded inequality. Unlike systems of oppression that create a simple division between two groups, such as masters and slaves, the caste system operates through multiple layers of hierarchy. In this system, every caste considers itself superior to another caste. Every caste also recognizes someone above it. Thus inequality is distributed across many levels. This structure prevents solidarity among oppressed groups because each caste tries to maintain its relative superiority over others. According to Ambedkar, this graded hierarchy creates a deeply fragmented society where collective resistance against oppression becomes difficult. This insight provides a powerful explanation for the persistence and stability of the caste system in India. Ambedkar on untouchability. Ambedkar devoted considerable intellectual effort to understanding the origins of untouchability. In his book The Untouchables, Who Were They and Why They Became Untouchables, he examined historical and anthropological explanations of untouchability. He rejected the idea that untouchability was based purely on racial differences. Instead, Ambedkar argued that untouchability emerged from social and religious practices related to purity and pollution. He suggested that communities which were associated with occupations considered impure were gradually segregated and stigmatized. Untouchability therefore represents the most extreme form of social exclusion within the caste system. Ambedkar considered untouchability not merely a social problem but a violation of basic human dignity. Ambedkar's critique of Hindu social order. Ambedkar was one of the most radical critics of the traditional Hindu social order. In his famous work Annihilation of Caste, he argued that caste is deeply rooted in Hindu religious texts and scriptures. He criticized the Manusmriti and other Brahmanical texts for legitimizing caste hierarchy and untouchability. According to Ambedkar, social reform cannot succeed unless the ideological foundations of caste are challenged. He therefore argued that Hindu society must abandon the religious principles that justify inequality. Ambedkar also criticized reform movements that attempted to reform caste without questioning its basic structure. For him, caste could not be reformed, it had to be completely destroyed. Ambedkar's concept of social democracy. Ambedkar believed that political democracy alone cannot guarantee justice. A society may adopt democratic institutions such as elections and parliaments, but if social relations remain hierarchical, democracy will remain incomplete. Ambedkar therefore emphasized the importance of social democracy. Social democracy is based on three fundamental principles: liberty, equality, fraternity. These values must govern not only political institutions but also social relationships between individuals and communities. Without equality and fraternity, political democracy becomes fragile and unstable. Ambedkar warned that if social inequalities persist, democracy may eventually collapse. Ambedkar's views on religion. Ambedkar believed that religion plays a powerful role in shaping social values and institutions. However, he argued that religion must promote morality, equality, and human dignity. He strongly criticized Hinduism because he believed its traditional doctrine supported caste hierarchy. After years of reflection, Ambedkar converted to Buddhism in 1956 along with millions of followers. He considered Buddhism to be a rational and ethical religion based on compassion, equality, and social justice. His interpretation of Buddhism emphasized social transformation rather than spiritual salvation. This interpretation is often referred to as Navayana Buddhism, or the new vehicle of Buddhism. His final book, Buddha and His Dhamma, presents his reinterpretation of Buddhist philosophy. Ambedkar's vision of social justice. Ambedkar believed that social transformation requires both legal reform and social change. As the chairman of the drafting committee of the Indian Constitution, he played a crucial role in incorporating principles of equality and justice into the constitutional framework. Some important constitutional provisions influenced by Ambedkar include: abolition of untouchability, equality before law, fundamental rights, affirmative action for historically oppressed communities. Ambedkar viewed the Constitution as a tool for building a modern, democratic, and egalitarian society. However, he also warned that constitutional ideals would fail if society continues to practice caste discrimination. Conclusion. To conclude, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar was one of the most important social thinkers in modern India. His intellectual contributions include a systematic analysis of caste structure, the concept of graded inequality, a critique of Hindu social order, a vision of social democracy based on liberty, equality, and fraternity, a reinterpretation of religion as a tool for social transformation. Ambedkar's work continues to shape debates on caste, social justice, democracy, and equality in India. His ideas remain essential for understanding both the structure of Indian society and the ongoing struggle for dignity and human rights. If you found this lecture helpful, do like, subscribe and share this video. Thank you.